Let me tell you how I discovered study methods almost completely by accident. One day I was rummaging through my grandmother's library. She had this wonderful collection of books that belonged to all her children from when they were in school, and somehow those books had been kept beautifully. They were old, but they were still in really good condition. So, of course, I started looking through them just to see what I could find. And then I stumbled upon a book that talked about study methods. I found it fascinating. I started reading about all these different tools, techniques, and strategies for studying, and then I decided to try some of them myself. And something happened. That year, I became an excellent student. You see, before then, secondary school had been quite a struggle for me. I had found the transition from primary school to secondary school difficult. There were so many changes, different teachers, different subjects, different expectations, and I was struggling to adapt. But suddenly, studying became different. It became almost like a game. I wasn't just sitting down and forcing myself to read anymore. I was experimenting with different techniques. I was discovering how to study, and I realized something very important. Studying is actually a skill. It's not simply about being intelligent. It's not just about sitting with the textbook for hours. There are strategies, there are tools, there are methods. And when you discover the methods that work for you, learning can become so much easier and even enjoyable. It took me many years to fully appreciate that what I had stumbled upon was actually an entire field of learning called study methods. And that discovery stayed with me. Years later, I watched my daughter become deeply interested in the same subject. I watched her study, experiment, learn, and continually add to what she knew. And I remember thinking, wow, this is something our children really need to know. Because I've seen firsthand what happens when a child who is struggling is given the right tools. Sometimes what looks like a child who is not serious or not intelligent or not trying hard enough is actually a child who simply hasn't been taught how to learn. And that is one of the reasons I became so passionate about study methods, because I've lived the transformation myself. I've seen what happens when you stop asking why isn't this child doing well? Yeah, and start asking, does this child know how to study? That question, you see, can change everything.